Microphone's on. Turn your mic on. Okay, we should be live. How many viewers are we getting? We only have 3 right now. We usually get around 5 to 10 per episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's it going, folks?
Yeah, welcome, internet. Welcome to episode 7.
7?
Yeah, this is episode 7 of the Virus Podcast.
Crazy.
We're now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so make sure to check that out because we upload right after the episodes are finished now. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting updates and little snippets on there. And then watch the stream live, we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So.
Heck yeah. That's all of them, huh? You got them all?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Yeah, follow us, subscribe to us. We're working on getting the Patreon set up and anything else that needs set up as well. So welcome back. And we appreciate all the love and support and you guys joining the conversation. So feel free to chime in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Danny's got some notes this time, so we're stepping up the game now.
Stepping up the professionalism, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that. So yeah, we had a really good podcast. I feel like in episode 6, we talked about a lot of cool stuff and a lot of relevant stuff.
yeah, I got a good we got a good comment on YouTube. Someone was, well, they just said good, but it's cool though. You don't even get comments on YouTube. So,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Good? I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, it's feedback.
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's not in-depth feedback, but
Oh, we're getting some traction on Instagram. Finally, it took a while for us to be able to upload the proper format to post it on there. So we got that locked in. So if you got Instagram, check us out on there. We're going to start doing 1-minute clip segments to start attaching on there. And do keep in mind that they are out of context. So we were recording a couple of clips, and me and Danny were just dying laughing because of if you just listen to the 1-minute clip out of context, it can be hilarious. So or offensive, one of the two.
Hopefully, it's not only hilarious to us.
I know.
Everyone else is like, you guys are fucking idiots. So.
We did get our first hater, by the way.
Did we?
Yeah, she's there was a lady that said on that actual
on
that clip, yeah, she said, "Look, Ma, 2 mediocre white boys in mom's basement making a podcast."
Wait, hold up. You're not even white.
I know.
She said white boys though.
Yeah, and
you're not even. You can see you're obviously not white.
I guess if I cared for that good criticism, I would be happy, but I mean, being white is not really like a great...
I was expecting a little bit of haters just because that clip is taken out of context. For the people who haven't watched it, we took a part of our last podcast and we were talking negatively about certain protesters. But we took it out of context because we just thought it was hilarious and we only posted that part and we didn't post the secondary part where we're like, those people are kind of uprooting the cause of the true meaning. So yeah, we kind of invited the haters, honestly.
Oh, I'm actually excited, man. Haters, I love haters, and that's a good sign. When you get haters, it's a sign you're doing some good. I mean, you can't just get... I mean, I also got my first bad review on my business, so maybe that's a good sign. We got our first hater on there, and I got my first bad review on my business. It only took 2.5 years, but hey, I got it. Yeah. So maybe I made it. So yeah, man, pretty excited. We got some things to talk about. I have a feeling a lot of this that we're talking about is about the protests and the stuff that's currently going on because it seems to be ongoing.
Yeah, I tried writing down some different topics besides that because I don't want to like beat that horse down. You know, we've been talking about like 30 minutes every episode.
Hopefully, you got something bright to talk about.
Maybe.
If not, I got a few things. So
say we could also put some nice light on these.
You got to sprinkle in a little bit of goodness in this.
Yeah. try to be improv some comedy in here. I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but yeah, how's your last few days been? Let's start with that.
Last few days have been a lot better. Been doing better.
Sweet.
Kind of recuperating and feeling better. Trying to fix my sleeping schedule and shit. I don't know. Probably don't want to hear about it. I mean, they don't probably want to hear about the little tiny little deals, but I'm doing better. So
that's what we needed to know. Awesome, man. Dude, I've been busy, as usual, hectic. typical business problems. So I've been doing really good though, successfully with conversions and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm doing good, man. Things are
Awesome.
going well. A lot of pressure, but like Biggie Small said, more money, more problems.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I guess I can tie that into my first topic that I want to talk about, which was material possessions and happiness.
All right. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Because I feel like a lot of people think if you make more money, get more things that you want, that will make you happy.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, most people that get those things, it doesn't necessarily bring happiness. So I want to talk to you about what you thought about that, because I mean, you obviously make more money than me. Maybe not obviously, but Ben makes more money than me and has more opportunity to buy things that he wants.
Yeah. So yeah, my opinion with that is, God, I got to make sure I word it right too. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does give you opportunities to attain things that might lead to a better lifestyle. It's not going to give you happiness. So my personal opinion of that is that, you know, money does, there's a couple, I would think of it in a couple different ways. So money doesn't buy happiness, but obviously poverty never bought shit as well.
Yeah.
So we got that realistic part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the money, but if you heavily rely on money and materialistic things to provide you happiness, you might set yourself up for disappointment. Because what you're looking for is just a little more freedom, and money buys freedom. And I know people are hearing me talk about this and they're like, oh, you're basically saying the same thing. So money buys happiness. Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily a path that you can take towards being confused about what, money actually does. And so money can be used for bad. I don't believe in cliche statements like money is the root of all evil and bullshit like that. So I don't really believe in statements like that, because money can most certainly be used for good.
Yeah. They did some studies. I can't quote any of them specifically, but one that I read said something along the lines that money does buy happiness, but only to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So like the number they came up with was like around 75K. So if you make less than 75K, if you make more money, it'll make you happier, but then it kind of plateaus after 75K. So it's kind of like once you get to like middle class and where you can kind of comfortably live and afford things,
yeah,
more money won't really buy you more happiness.
Yeah, I can see that being true. And yeah, it's funny because you wonder when the filthy rich people are out there that are just so money hungry, like Bill Gates or someone, they seem like they want more money.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates does donate a lot of money though too. So,
yeah.
Bill was saying always want something more. That is true.
Yeah.
I was watching this video. I forget who was an influencer. Oh, it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You know who that is?
Not off the top of my head. I do.
He's
the
an
name
actor,
rings a
though.
bell.
But he was talking about how, not about money, but about followers on social media. And he's like, you get 1,000 followers, and you're like, hell yeah, I would love to just have 5,000. You get to 5,000, and it's never good enough. You want 10,000.
Yeah.
You want 100,000. It just keeps going up, and you never really feel good enough because it's like an outside source. It's never going to bring you like true happiness from within, really.
Yeah. So that's weird because so Philip is saying always want something more, and you're saying always want something more is not necessarily going to ever end. Or is it kind of subjective to certain?
I think you just got to be more aware of it so that you can understand how your brain works and understand that you should learn to be content with what you have and be happy with what you have instead of being discontent with what you have and wanting more out of life and always wanting more and never just stopping to be like, hey, things are pretty good. I have these things going for me at least, and being, I guess, grateful is what you should be grateful for what you do have still.
Yeah, that's interesting. It reminds me of so one of my, you've heard me watch him before, one of my social media mentors is Dan Lok.
Mm-hmm.
You remember who I'm talking about? He's he's an Asian individual.
Oh yeah,
does martial arts and things like that.
So. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he was telling a story about within a good long segment, which I got a lot of value of. out of. He was talking about how he had this goal of talk about a lot of goals, but this one specific goal, he had a Mazda 3 or something, and his goal was to get a Mazda RX-8.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how to visualize it so bad, spread the word, to your friends and your family, like, you're going to get this car, that type of stuff, really kind of live it and breathe it. He's also talking about how he test drove the car from different lots, so he can imagine what it's like to drive it and feel himself in it, right? And then he also, with going fast forward through his story, the day comes when he's going to buy that vehicle, and he goes into the auto store to store the store
went to the store
to buy it, right? And they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? And would you like to check out a certain car? And he's like, yeah, that car right there, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, oh yeah, well, you want to test drive it? He's like, no, I don't want to test drive it. He's like, you want to hear about the benefits and features? Like, no, I don't want any of that. I want to buy it. Let's get the paperwork. Let's speed this up.
Right.
The guy, okay, so he goes through it, the process. The guy, says it's the fastest sale that he's ever gotten, right?
Mm-hmm.
As Dan Lok was driving away, he said that he didn't feel any excitement.
Yeah.
He had already envisioned himself in that moment so much that it was just like, he already kind of knew he was going to get there because he envisioned himself so much in that success scenario. So a little bit different from what we're talking about, but it is materialistic related. And the reason I brought that up is just because of his reaction on no excitement. He said he was just not really excited because he already knew he was going to get it and test drove it so many times.
Yeah, I think what it is material possessions that only provide status for you they're superficial, right? I think that's what it is. It's a car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for instance, one of the things I'm really excited to get, which is a material possession, but I think it's going to provide me more happiness than the average material possession, is that drawing tablet that I just bought.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think we're all kind of meant to be creators. This kind of ties back into what we were talking about on our previous podcast, like what are we designed
to do, yeah.
And I think everyone's kind of inherently creative, and then you kind of lose that as you get older. All kids love to draw, and all kids love to express themselves.
Absolutely.
So I think that if you want to have something material possession, maybe your material possessions could be stuff you create, and that could actually bring you happiness because you're expressing yourself to the world. And like tying into that, I just don't think that something like a car or a house, maybe a house, if you have a tiny little house and you want living room space, a little bit bigger of a house will get you some happiness, but getting a gigantic house, I don't think is really gonna.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to say specifically is if it provides value to your life, then it's more valuable to you.
Yeah.
And you're going to be excited about that. But that's also subjective, you know what I mean?
It is subjective, but I guess mainly what I'm saying is if you're buying a material possession because you want other people to think better of you because of your material possession, I don't think that's going to bring you happiness because that is inherently superficial. That
makes perfect sense, yeah. Because you're caring what people think, first of all, and that's just a huge pressure to live under, I did it for years, so I can speak from experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what you're talking about. You're talking about caring what other people think about you through status.
Yeah.
And through materialistic pieces that raise your status.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the drive behind getting more material possessions because your status is...
Well, there's only two reasons. It's either for status or personal value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what I think you're saying is basically personal value has much more and much more of an impact on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more valuable.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I agree with all that. It's an interesting topic. It's
I didn't even think of these little sub points before. I just wrote down material possessions and happiness, so it's kind of funny.
Well, that's all you got to do. You know what I mean? Me and you can take it from there.
Yeah, just need a spark for a conversation. So
just some bullet points, and then we just ramble and. We can take it wherever we want. So I like our insights on it, and I think we were kind of on the same page with that for the most part too.
Yeah.
But let us know how you guys feel about materialistic possessions, is that something you guys value? Is that something, are you more concerned with status that it creates, or personal value that it creates, or both? Or give us a little bit of your own feedback on that as well. Yeah, good stuff. I like that.
What do you got?
I got a lot of random stuff.
Random, huh?
Yeah. So like, there's things I'm like, I got a little bit on. So I've been watching the Jeffrey Epstein thing finally. I only got an episode and a half in, but that's something I definitely want to.
Yeah, let's come back to that.
And then we got a little bit of the cops and what's going on with the protests.
We can talk about that. That's my second bullet point on here.
Let's get into that. That's going to take a majority of this topic, since it seems to be.
It's just relevant.
It's just relevant,
Super
exactly.
relevant.
It's what's on people's minds, and we want to know.
So let's talk about the video that you've seen for sure. The old man getting pushed by the cops.
So fucked up.
You could hear his head smack the concrete so hard.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen this, there's a video that Danny showed me the other day, and there's a lot of them out there like this. So yeah, Philip, UFC 250 tonight, huh? Sweet. Who's let us know who the main event is, because I didn't even know. Do you know?
I never keep track. I always hear about it afterwards. I'm like, that fight sounds awesome. I gotta go watch that fight. But I'm always too busy beforehand to check up on that.
Yeah. Let us know what the who the main event is, and maybe we'll recap that, and then next episode we'll talk about it. Kind of like
we have lower viewer count right now. There's the protests and stuff like UFC going on at the same time we're doing this, but
yeah,
whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, everybody's occupied.
Mm.
No way. Who's Amanda Nunes fighting? Shevchenko? Please tell me Shevchenko. We would have to review the fuck out of that episode, dude.
Yeah.
Or out of that fight.
I'm down. It's been a few episodes since we reviewed any fights anyways, so I'd love to get into another one.
Dude, Amanda Nunes is a badass, but so is fucking Shevchenko, so I really want to see that fight happen. I'm hoping that's what is going on. But yeah,
The old man,
very fucked up, dude. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, Danny showed me a video about a 75-year-old, is a white male. He was approaching, a group of soldiers.
Yeah, they were marching
down the road, and this old man was very obviously non-aggressive. He was just kind of like,
he did invade their personal space, but he wasn't like aggressive. You know what I mean?
He had his hands up, like he was like, hey,
It's not like he was trying to tell them something.
Exactly. Yeah. So he walks up to them. One of the officers kind of shoves him, and it wasn't really a big shove, but you can tell the man was very old, and by the way he was stumbling backwards, his equilibrium was off, and so he had a hard time keeping his balance.
I don't think he was expecting to get shoved like that, because he came up like not trying to instigate something, so I think
he came up non-aggressive and didn't expect to get shoved. So it shows the old man stumbling backwards, and it didn't even look like he fell very hard, but he just laid there stone cold on his back like he was in a casket. Blood dripping from his head, and I was just shocked. I was like, holy shit. And then they just kept walking by him.
That was the worst part.
They just kept walking by him.
Yeah.
As he was laying there, and some of them looked down at him and just kept walking.
You know what's
so ruthless.
The cop that shoved him, right? And then he went to go like check on him, and then another cop grabbed him and made him keep marching.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah. I watched it a few times. So also, don't watch this video if you're a little squeamish or get upset easily, because viewer discretion advised, honestly, because it's very upsetting, and also there's blood and shit.
There's a lot of those videos out there right now where the cops are just being ruthless out there and abusing people pretty much, and whatever you call it, checking people, and just overly aggressive, using excessive force, but
I don't think that's what he was knocked out.
Yeah. Felicia Spencer too. Yeah. I don't remember who she is off the top of my head, but when I see her face, I'll know. So I'll have to check that out. But yeah, to answer your question, he didn't want to get up and get attacked again. If you're referring to the same video that we've seen, he looked like he was KO'd.
Yeah, he wasn't moving at all.
He wasn't moving at all, and he was just, I mean, we don't know for sure, but I did see another army guy kind of tend to him after that, after he noticed the blood coming out of his head, but...
Yeah, he was like bleeding from his ear, so...
It's insane. So, totally uncalled for, man. The cops are, you know, we talked about how, last episode, how there's unintelligent protesters. A lot of them are, you know, they're emotionally unintelligent. They're not thinking with logic, which is why we had a lot of vandalism going on and so on and so forth. Or just a lot of herd mentality, negativity going on. Well, there's really no exception for the cops as well. They're also acting like gang members, and they're also using excessive force, and it's fucked up right now.
Yeah.
I understand we need law and order, but the way it's being executed is like a wild, wild west mentality. And some of these cops, I think, are just abusing their position of power, and they're looking for this scenario. They're just a hair trigger away from hurting somebody. And this is, you know, I have a suspicion some of them have been waiting for this.
Yeah. It's kind of like a sub point I have here. It was just saying there seems to be a uniform type of behavior across the entire nation with these cops. And I was wondering, are they being told to act this way, or is there that many bad seeds in the force? What do you think?
Yes, I believe they're being told that way. So
it's so prevalent across the entire country. It's crazy.
You know, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but Killer Mike brought up the point that Donald Trump used the statement, if you start looting, we start shooting. And so all these soldiers got that mentality in their head. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, you guys start acting like that, we're going to fuck you up. Yeah. To the point to where they're firing tear gas in people's house, marching down the road. Remember?
Yeah, just
I was telling you about that.
Fucking nuts, dude.
That was insane. Like, there's people in their own homes, and these cops were marching down the street. And this is a video, a cell phone cam that was videoing this, and they were telling them to go back in their house. Well, they were already in the house. They were in the doorway with the door open, and they didn't listen. So one of the other cops was like, let them have it or something like that. And then they just started firing tear gas in the open door entryway. Couldn't believe that shit. I was like, you can't even stand on your fucking porch anymore or in your doorway.
Yeah.
Like, they have that much power.
Yeah, I was just listening to Ukrainia, Totalitarian Dystopia.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this is such a relevant song right now. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, I have to listen. You know what's funny? I just listened to Ukrainia the other day too. It came on my Pandora. I don't remember what song it was though. It was that one song and it was like, jin, 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 jin. You know what I'm saying?
No.
When you hear it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that song. Yeah. But yeah, they got good lyrics, man.
Yeah. You know, I honestly thought that like Donald Trump was going to be Joe Biden, and normally I would say this is kind of political, but I didn't really give a fuck beforehand. But now I really don't think that Donald Trump is going to win. There's no way he's going to be doing this kind of totalitarian, authoritative, trying to like basically create a war against the citizens. I don't think he's going to get reelected. I don't think that's possible.
God, don't count on it. You might be surprised.
I always get disappointed by the voting of this country, so...
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, talk about other songs that are relative and good. That Tupac song, Changes.
Oh, yeah.
Super good, man. If you hear that song these days, it's so on point. I'm like, dude, I love me some Tupac, but yeah, when you listen to it, Changes, it's almost like emotional.
It's always been an emotional song for me, so probably even more so right now. Sup, Snakes, dude? Fucking Ukrainia.
What up, Snakes?
Ukrainia is dank. Listen to the newest album. I haven't. Susceptible to retinol-based reprogrammability. That's a fucking mouthful.
That's an old song, dude. That's not just the last album they did. I thought for a second there they had a new album. I was gonna say, what? I didn't know about that.
Did you see the whole cops stop because of that incident? They all stopped riot resistance. I'm not sure. I know we're just talking about overall kind of what's happening with cops. I know that there are good cops out there. There's been instances where the cops are joining the protesters, and that's really wholesome and really cool to see. But there definitely is a problem right now in general with cops being way too brutal, and
they're being overly excessive in some areas, you know, where it's not needed.
Especially like LA. You've seen that a lot of these videos from LA are very, very scary to watch, honestly. would not want to be in LA right now.
Yeah, there's a couple different places like that. Atlanta's pretty scary too.
You know, it's like these places. The more their black population is there, the more hardcore the cops are. Isn't that?
Yeah.
It's fucked up. Is there? I've seen this a lot, so this isn't an original thought, but the police are really not helping their cause because the nation is protesting police brutality, and
Yeah, I
they're
know.
answering with police brutality.
So ironic. Yeah. You're fighting anger with anger. You're fighting hate with hate. I don't understand that. We were talking about that last episode.
It's like, dude, it's like if your wife is like, you know, if the dude's wife is like, dude, this guy beats me all the time, and you're like, shut the fuck up, and you start beating her.
Yeah.
It's like the same fucking thing.
Obviously not funny, but you get the point.
It's only funny because it's an analogy.
We have a dark humor too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we gotta laugh a little bit, so otherwise you go insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what he means by what you mean by that, Philip, exactly. But if you're saying, you know, I think what I'm hearing is, you know, the riots were stopped because of that aggressiveness, maybe. Am I reading that right?
It stopped riot resistance, so maybe they're not using as much force. I don't know.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, elaborate that. I don't want to misunderstand what you're saying.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like maybe I misunderstood.
Maybe, but in any regard, if they did stop riots in that specific, you know, let's just use this the scenario that they pushed over the 75-year-old man and he cracked his head open, but they stopped the riot. I would say, you know, stopping the riot's great, but man, there's got to be another way to not push over the 75-year-old man and crack his head open. There's just little things like that can be worked around, you know?
Yeah, you didn't have to show him. You could have just moved him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could still like be authoritative and move someone without just like shoving them. You know, it's unnecessary force. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think he would have resisted that much if you're like, "Hey, come over here, buddy. You got to get out of the way." You know.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but like whatever.
Okay, so
they did get suspended. So and the whole squad quit doing riot resistance. Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I did know that the 2 officers did get suspended.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. You know, and then it makes you wonder, did he get suspended because it was exposed and that was required? You know what I mean? It's kind of just going through the motions at that point.
Well, what's interesting is not really interesting. I mean, it is interesting, but it's not surprising.
Your screen blacked out.
Screen blacked out. Yeah, dude, too much alky. What was I gonna say? Oh, the cops initially said that he tripped and fell.
Oh wow. There's a video. Now see, a lot of this shit wouldn't be exposed have we not have cell phones readily available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
George Floyd wouldn't have been, you know, that would have been a whole different scenario too.
Yeah.
Like
this kind of ties into what I want to talk about later about Jeffrey Epstein, is that people in authoritative positions tend to abuse their power.
Absolutely.
Unless they're held accountable for it. It's pretty scary.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly, Philip. If we didn't have a cell phone on, you know, that old man or George Floyd incident, a lot of these things where cops are being held accountable, you're right, they wouldn't be punished, and that's just fucked up, man. Imagine how much stuff people have gotten away with because there's no video prior to this.
Some prior events are now being brought up and being protested about those.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that there's a case in Tacoma, and there was a woman that was shot.
Well, they got audio on that one, the Tacoma one.
Yeah.
You can hear the kid in the back saying, "I can't breathe," twice. Yeah. And so they got that at least, you know.
That one's crazy too. For me personally, it's just so close to home.
Yeah, it's just right up the road.
I know Tacoma's kind of a crazy place, but still.
Yeah, and Tacoma, you know, they have a big black community too.
Yeah, very.
And so I don't doubt that there's definitely some racial discrimination going on there.
Yeah, because Washington's predominantly whites, and that's an area where there are a good amount of black people. So
yeah, this shit's sad, man.
It's very.
But yeah, you know, I talked about the cops basically. Yeah, I thought it'd be important to talk about the cops having a gang member mentality too, because I didn't want people to think we were picking on the protest. We weren't picking on the protesters. I was saying, just to clarify there, in case someone misunderstood what I was saying about that, was there's a small percentage of unintelligent people in any group of anything going on. And the problem with it being in the protesters is that they're getting in that herd mentality, and there's a lot of negative stuff. Shit, I forgot to silence that. A lot of negative stuff is happening because of it, because they're getting that herd mentality. And so, yeah, that's, you know, the cops are no different. They're also getting that herd mentality, and they're also, you know, getting the quote unquote gang member mentality. So yeah. It's on both sides, man. And if we could just all stop, when you get in that herd mentality, or when you get in a group of people, if you can just stop thinking with emotion and think more logically, we're gonna have better results, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay.
But yeah, as far as that old man goes, when you're doing that and you're scanning through and doing riot resistance, you can obviously, for the most part, see who's a threat and who's not. 75-year-old man, not a threat.
You can see that at a glance just from starting the video when he walks up. Dude, that guy's like as skinny as me.
Yeah. That cop had some built-up frustration going on, and that poor old man was the victim of that.
Yeah, that kind of goes to what we were talking about before on a previous podcast. It's like the motivation to be a police officer isn't always necessarily a righteous one.
Absolutely. I mean, my suspicion is that cop was a victim of something at one point, and we already talked about this victim make more victims. So
yeah, maybe bullied or some shit.
Yeah, he got bullied, and that poor old man was the next in line for it. So
yeah,
that's fucked up. But okay, let me shine some light on a different topic.
Yeah.
We're talking shit about the cops right now, but I feel bad for the good cops now. Okay, we've seen videos of this. There's a ton of good cops out there doing noble shit too.
Yeah.
They're making noble statements, and they're dropping their guns, and they're marching with protesters. You know, peaceful protesting. Obviously, they're not engaged.
Rioting.
We're not seeing the cops looting or anything. I wouldn't call that noble.
Like, you guys are getting free shit. Us too.
So yeah, I feel really bad for the cops, because now they're getting grouped. For the people that just are not thinking rationally, they're automatically grouping the good cops into this bad cop scenario. And there's good cops out there. My personal experience with good cops is very few, but there are some out there.
Yeah.
I've had more bad experiences with cops personally than good, but that doesn't mean anything. I know that good cops are out there. I know they exist. And so I think we need to highlight that as well. Because there's not enough of that being said. I'm not saying Blue Lives Matter. I'm not saying, like, I'm not changing the fact. Like, that's not where I'm going.
You're not
with
taking
this.
sides.
I'm not taking sides. I'm not comparing. None of that shit. So don't get that misinterpreted here. What I'm saying is it's important to highlight the good in any scenario, as well as the bad. Because if you just focus on the negative, then the good gets grouped into that sometimes, and they get in a box. And I think that's just not efficient. It's not a proactive way of thinking.
Right.
So.
Okay, never mind. So I did go through the checklist. I was like, did I forget to start recording again?
But let's see.
You know what? I guess this will shine more light on that. I've had pretty decent experiences with cops, except for a couple of times. And I think it just kind of shows
white privilege.
The white privilege, yeah. See, because for people watching that don't know, I am a quarter native, but it doesn't show. So I've had this kind of discussion with Ben. I think probably or who did I have a discussion with? Oh, it was my friend, about how yes, I am native, but I present as white, and so that's what's important. It doesn't matter how I feel; it matters how other people feel, how they perceive me.
Apparently, I present in white now.
Okay. So what?
I'm not even being seen for my skin color. That's great.
I just heard your voice like that's a white guy.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so like I don't know. I've always had an easy time with authority, I guess, which is fucked up. Like getting pulled over by the cops. I got pulled over without insurance and stuff before.
Yeah.
And just the cops let me away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's I always kind of play innocent though. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, all right, well,
play dumb.
Warning next time. You know, like, thank you.
Yeah, I can
I don't know
honestly
if it
say if you were black, you probably wouldn't get that luxury.
Yeah, and I think it only worked because the last time I got pulled over was a couple years ago, and a couple years ago I still looked like I was 19. So, I could kind of get away with like
Being dumb.
yeah,
Playing
acting
dumb.
like a dumb kid. Even though, he seen my ID, so he knew I was like 26, but I still was presenting as like a dumb 19-year-old white boy. So,
Well, there's dumb 26-year-olds out there, so it's
Yeah.
believable.
but yeah. Also in school, I remember there's in high school, my principal came up to me one time and was like, I was supposed to suspend you," and I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Oh, we had video of you rolling a joint on the bus." And I was like, "Oh, that was a cigarette," because I was a cigarette.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "All right, well, just don't do that anymore." I didn't get suspended, but that was another type of privilege because on top of the whole white thing is I was like in the top, like, you know, 1% of my class and stuff, and so I was like straight A students, kind of like honor.
Yeah.
So I was allowed to get away with more. So I understand from the side of privilege. So with the cops and stuff, I've had more good experiences than I've had bad experiences.
So yeah, you're right, Philip. Good and bad in every profession. And then you also said your mic has an echo.
It might be just picking up both of these. Is it just my mic that has an echo? It's hard for me to know right now. Has it had an echo the entire time?
Maybe move it a little bit away from mine if you think. We'll try that a little bit.
See if this helps.
Yeah, we'll see if that works. This is our first podcast with our own individual mics, so I appreciate that feedback. Let us know if it's any better or worse, Philip, because we're kind of still working out the kinks on the.
Let me double check right here that we don't have the camera mic on. The camera mic is not on. So we had an echo the other day with that, but I think it's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Not a ton we can do during the podcast, so
Yeah.
we'll try to do some video tests in between now and our next podcast to make sure we have more of it.
But yeah, to wrap that topic up, let's try not to group the good cops into the box of killer cops and racial cops, because
Exactly.
there are some good ones out there.
It's like we don't, even though the rioters are getting grouped in with the protesters, that's way better. Okay, cool.
Okay, nice.
Awesome. Yeah, we don't need to make general blanket statements. So
Yeah, that's the key.
Not all cops are bad. Not all protesters are rioters. So
Exactly. Yeah. Let's hopefully we can get some peaceful riders and some peaceful policing.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, let's talk about same topic, but so Killer Mike, the rapper. Right before this podcast, I listened to a speech that he did. Excuse me, on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He got some powerful statements in there, man. That dude was pretty emotional during that time. So I'm glad I actually gave it a little attention and stuff. But I took down some notes on what he said. He had some very interesting things and viewpoints on this. First of all, he said his dad's a cop.
Okay.
He's got two cousins that are cops. So he's very well aware of good police, you know what I mean, and bad police as well too, because he's black. You know, he's probably been discriminated on as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
It sounded like he had some. He didn't really go into that, but I can tell he's had some bad experiences with cops too. But he made it very clear he didn't want to be there for the speech, but he said he had a responsibility to be there, and so I appreciate the fact that he stepped up and talked about it a little bit. And he basically, his biggest message in that whole speech, he said it a few times, but he was saying it is your duty to not burn down your own house for anger with an enemy. And I thought that was pretty powerful, because we're destroying each other. We're destroying our house, and we're destroying where we live because of this act that happened. And I don't think people are well aware of the damage that's being done, because they're thinking with emotion more than logic, like we were talking about.
Right.
I understand people are pissed. Mm-hmm. I mean, anybody would be pissed. I'm pissed. It's fucked up. Nobody should be treated that way. But he's basically was saying it's not a time for burning your own house down. This is a time to fortify your own house and organize, mobilize, strategize, get a plan in place to make these changes instead of going out there kind of aimlessly. It's time to beat up prosecutors, as he said, that you don't like at the voting booth.
Beat up prosecutors?
Beat up prosecutors at the voting booth.
That's a crazy statement.
Yeah. Not literally, obviously.
Oh, he's talking...
Beating them up at the voting booth. Choose your elected officials appropriately. Okay. Yeah, no. Not literally.
Okay. Figuratively. Don't let you go beat up people at the voting booth.
No. Yeah, in case you didn't understand that, that was his way of saying, that was his term, but not literally. He's saying basically hold the mayoral offices, your chiefs, your deputy chiefs accountable. And then he referred to the video of George Floyd as, he says, we sit there and watch this man being killed by a cop begging for his life, and we watch this video like it's murder porn. We watch it over and over again.
I've only watched it like once, maybe twice, so I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I've only seen it twice too. Actually, I've never seen it all the way through.
I don't get to watch the way. You don't really need to watch it.
I don't need to. I can pretty much. I mean, I got what happened. You know what I mean? It's fucked up. And I've heard what happened. The dude was begging for his mom. Said he couldn't breathe.
Dude, that's
8 to 9 minutes.
Dude, that's
fucking sad.
Dude, people asking for their mom is like the saddest fucking thing.
That is sad, dude. It's fucking true sadness. His mom is dead too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he basically also went on to say he wants to see organizations set up for systemic racism burnt to the ground. Again, not literally, but eradicated.
That was easy to understand.
Yeah. He started talking about the Cornerstone speech that basically states, I'll have to look into this a little more. It's the first time I've ever heard of this term, but he brought it up. The Cornerstone speech states that blacks would always be subordinate. White people are the superior race. And there's some offices and some forces that believe that truly and operate that way still to this day.
Yeah, I should show you that book that I had from my humanities class. It has a lot of stuff about white people thinking of other races as being inferior, superior, and there's a lot of stuff.
There's people that still operate that way.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
It's always been a thing. It's gotten better over time, but it hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. He's saying the two most effective ways to combat this is and execute change is to first go to the computer, fill out your census, let people know who you are and where you are. And then also exercise your political bully power by going to the elections and beating up the politicians verbally that you don't like. He's basically saying we have to be better in this moment by not burning our own house down again. CNN, he started criticizing CNN for, he's saying stop feeding the fear and the anger every day and instead start giving hope.
Yeah,
he also said we don't need another dumbass president that repeats what segregationists said, which were what I said earlier. You start looting, we start shooting. And so, basically the message that he said that I heard him say a few times was, don't burn your own house down. Instead, let's go to the source, and that's your elected officials. So we need to put people in a position of power who operate ethically and not racially. So
how long have these heated protests been going on? It's been a week or two?
I think at least a week.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
Maybe 2 weeks. Yeah.
Is it time for us to all right, we've had our yell? You know what I mean?
I don't know when that time is.
I know, exactly.
I would say.
But there has to be a time where we're like, all right, we've thrown our fit, we're pissed.
Yeah.
We know we're pissed now. Let's do something about it.
Exactly.
Take a step back and actually
take an action.
Exactly.
Because protesting is taking action, but it's not the action that's going to make. I don't think it's the action that's going to make the true change. I think what Killer Mike was talking about is more accurate and on point as far as making them true changes that we want to see.
Long-term change.
Exactly. It's a good way to put it. Long-term changes. So, yeah, very powerful stuff, man.
Awesome.
You know, he was very emotional during that too. So I could definitely feel his pain during that. But yeah, what else you got over there, man? Let's
I want to talk about. I don't know if I really want to go into this that much. Maybe we'll see. Needy friends. What do you think about needy friends?
Needy friends is a good topic, man.
Yeah, you think so?
Needy friends are fucking draining.
Exactly.
Very unattractive. Anything neediness. I feel like episode 2 we might have talked about this. Maybe episode 1, but neediness comes off as. So basically, when you see someone who's needy or you come off as needy, the other person that sees that as someone who's going to take my resources from me. So if someone came to me and wanted something all the time, all I'm doing is viewing them as someone who's just constantly depleting my resources. I always want something from me. And coming from a primitive mental state, like back in the caveman days, very unattractive. You don't want nothing to do with that. You know.
So I was talking more about like emotionally needy.
Oh,
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It can
draining.
It can be emotionally, exactly. Resources mentally.
Yeah.
You know.
See, I mean, it's fine to lean on your friends sometimes. You know what I mean? If you're like in a time of need, but if you're like always in a time of need, I feel like that is really draining. You know what I mean?
So there's a time, exactly. So the friends that there's an appropriate time to. Did you hear that?
I did. I was like, what the fuck is that noise?
So there's an appropriate time to provide that support system, I think, but you're right, it can get exhausting really quick. But even so, I would argue that being that support system, you're still very aware that this person's going to be taking resources from you. That doesn't mean you're not more than happy to help. You're just well aware of it. You know what I mean? But that's what friendship's about. You know what I mean? So you see that. Exactly. And so you see your friend that needs that help, you know, whatever scenario is, you know, maybe someone passed away in their family, you know, obviously that's a great time to step up as a solid ass friend and be a good support system.
Yeah.
Or any, you know, it doesn't have to be that tragic, but I think there's real good times, and it says a lot about someone as a friend when you step up at the right times. It's just when people require so much of it, it becomes to be a huge turnoff, and you might want to even avoid that friend. It seems like, you know. Yeah,
it's pretty exhausting for me. I have one friend. I'm not going to name drop, but it's like very, very needy of my attention on a regular basis. You know what I mean? On
really?
An emotional level.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't talk to him for a couple of days, they're like, "Well, are we even friends anymore?" It's like, dude, my best friend and me don't talk for like months at a time sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
We're perfectly fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I have this other friend that's like, if I don't talk to him for like a week, they're like, we're not friends anymore, basically. I'm like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, and you know,
there is something
you
to
can
be
have
said
that
about
conversation with them about. I mean, my suggestion to you in that is to just level with that person. Say, hey, you know what I mean? Like, and have the conversation that me and you are having right now about being realistic with that.
Yeah, I mean,
they might understand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Or one nephew, one.
Nice. Or that needy nephew, yeah. That's good stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a interesting topic. I mean, I'm guilty of being needy at times too. Obviously, I think everyone is.
It's more important to step up for, you know,
I can
family.
Work.
But
sometimes I'm kind of unavailable. You know what I mean? Because I get wrapped up in my own emotions and I don't talk to people and stuff. So that's probably something I need to work on. There's probably a middle ground. You know what I mean? Where I need to meet people instead of just being completely distant or completely like wrapped up every day with that person.
Yeah. Well, first having the talk is a good first step. You know what I mean? Just leveling with people, like, hey man, you know, in that scenario, maybe it might be a good idea to just address that person and say, hey, you know, I don't want you to think that we're any less of friends, but I just, there's times in my life where I'm not able to support you all the time. You know, I'll be there for you if you need it. If there's something, you know, tragic, or, you know, if it's pressing and I feel it just makes sense for me to be there for you, but as a constant, it's draining on me. Just whatever it is, you know what I mean? Just have that conversation, man.
Yeah. I've had this conversation recently with a lot of my friends because I was very social before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic obviously messed with my mental health. And I had some friends be like, hey, what's up with you, man? We don't talk that much anymore. I'm like, it's just, I have a lot of anxiety. It's not you. It's more like I just kind of go through periods where I kind of antisocial. And
Yeah.
almost all of my friends have been like, that's fine, you know, I'm here for you when you're ready to, you know.
Yeah, that's a great response.
And stuff, so.
That's cool.
But I try to make it clear to all my friends, you know, like, hey, it's not I'm not acting this way towards you because of you. I'm acting this way towards you, towards everyone because of how I feel inside.
Yeah.
So, but I do have, like I said, I do have the one friend that same friend has asked me multiple times, like, why'd you stop talking to me? I'm like, I've told you before, it's because I have like anxiety and depression thing going on right now. It's not a personal thing, you know?
Well, hopefully they can understand that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Well, yeah, needy friends can be they can be draining, but it also can be nice when the time is right. It's a good feeling when you are a good support system for your friend. It's a good system. It's a good feeling on both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good for them, and then you feel good that you actually helped a friend out in time of need as well. So for selfish reasons too, I guess.
Yeah.
But not really selfish, because you feel good that they feel better. You know what I mean?
It's not really selfish, but it seems selfish at points sometimes too. When you help people and it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Am I doing it for me or am I doing it for them? You know? But, I mean, you're still doing it for them. It just Isn't it that's such like an adult weird thing to get caught up on?
You want to be the hero though. That's a selfish reason, huh? You want to be that hero. Everybody wants to be a fucking hero.
Yeah.
That's just normal.
Maybe we shouldn't get so upset about that feeling, honestly.
No, we shouldn't. That's a normal thing, man.
Yeah. When people like feed the homeless, for instance, and people are like, did you do that for you or did you do it for the homeless people? Like, who cares? You still help the homeless people. He wants to be a hero and feed the homeless people. Let him be a fucking hero and feed the homeless people. Like,
yeah.
Help the homeless people, help him, like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's a person that's really interested in doing someone else's inventory.
He's like, what do you think they're fucking Mother Teresa? They're Jesus? I don't care at all what anyone thinks I'm doing it just because I want to. Like, come on.
What are you, my psychiatrist? These are conversations I have with my psychiatrist, if I ever had one. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so that's good stuff. Let's talk about the Jeffrey Epstein a little bit, dude.
All right,
let's get that out of the way. So, I'll let you know what.
I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, you have more to say because you've watched the whole thing. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I kind of also knew about this whole. It was kind of more of a conspiracy theory before. Where now it's not really as much, because I think I first learned about Jeffrey Epstein in like 2015, 2016. It's before he got arrested the second time. So, yeah. But he was kind of like a big topic in the conspiracy theory kind of community, you know?
Really?
So,
it's interesting. I knew nothing about Jeffrey Epstein prior to this video.
yeah.
I didn't know
a single thing.
All I heard was, this is all I knew about him. He's a dude who died in prison. There's a conspiracy where he may or may not have killed himself, and he molested somebody. That's all I knew.
Okay.
I didn't know any details about it. I'd never even had the time to invest in it.
Yeah.
So this is
one thing that I thought when I had heard about him is obviously he did molest and like rape these underage girls, but I thought they were much younger than they were. I didn't realize they were like 15. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's bad either way.
Oh yeah.
But I was at least relieved that they weren't like, you know, like 7. I guess like the age of my daughters, because that would just fucking make it like worse to watch for me. You know what
I mean, that is kind of ironic that the younger you go, the worse it is.
It is.
Which some people might be like, well, it doesn't matter, you know, it's still bad even if it was an adult. Yes, I understand that very, very well.
There's a difference between someone's 17 or they're 7. You know what I mean? That's a huge difference.
It is a huge difference. You're still taking advantage of a human being that's innocent. I get it, but the innocence level is far greater, and that's what makes it much more disturbing for me. And then, yes, again, the fact that I have a daughter just like you puts things in perspective. I did watch that documentary a while back about the women that were being sold on the dark web. Remember me watching that?
No, I don't. That sounds awful.
Right here in Seattle, there was girls that were getting kidnapped, and then what happens is they get them on drugs, and then the girls...
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking about that, because I remember telling you about someone I personally knew that kind of happened to.
Yeah, fucking sad, dude.
Really
it's
sad.
a little bit of a different scenario, but same concept. They're wrapping these girls into a system that they can't defend themselves from mentally.
Yeah, they're not developed enough to...
They're not equipped mentally to deal with this, you know, billionaire fucking manipulative mentality.
Yeah.
You know, it's a position of power with manipulation meets innocence and naive.
Yeah. And also just kind of fear.
And
they put a lot of fear.
And they plant the fear, yeah.
You know what I found interesting is the parallels between Jeffrey Epstein, which is, you know, he's like a predator, right? Like someone like that and like a serial killer, because he has that kind of psychotic, like he's psychopathic, kind of sociopathic kind of tendencies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they can manipulate situations to work for them. You know what I mean? It reminds me kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that. Well, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to compare crimes; they're all bad. But obviously, that's more violence. You know what I mean? The murder and stuff. So
yeah,
but it's the same kind of like sociopathic kind of character traits.
Absolutely.
It puts people in those positions, you know.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I wonder if there's it's really reverby. Is it still?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Who's what's up, Matt?
Maybe I just need to like talk directly towards my mic, because maybe I'm talking kind of in the room like this, and maybe it's picking up on both mics. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let us know. We appreciate that feedback too, man. Let us know if it's any better. We're gonna try moving around a little bit. Like I said, this is the first time we've got individual mics now, and so we're kind of working through the kinks. Hopefully, it's not annoyingly bad, but we'll have to address this after this podcast. We'll start messing with it, but. In the meantime, let us know if this is any better. We're kind of leaning up to it now, and we'll see if that kind of takes the reverb out of it at all.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, back to Epstein.
Yeah. So I had a few points about that.
Well, let's talk a little about him. So he molested a bunch of. Let's get to the nuts and bolts real quick. He molested a bunch of women, girls. He's rich and powerful. Let's see. I think he was famous because basically he trafficked all them women. Really, no one knows how he made money. And I have a suspicion that that's how he made money.
I know he made an initial amount from Wall Street, which he kind of lied his way into. I don't know if he got to that part of the episode.
I knew he... Well, he lied his way into the educational system. Yeah. I remember that by saying he had an academic.
Yeah, I think it's part of the same episode. He goes from there, and then he goes to Wall Street after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's from New York or whatever. And I think that's kind of his arc. And then obviously he's been kind of tied to all these kind of politicians and famous people and stuff.
Yeah.
And people don't know.
But why?
Well.
What's your thoughts on this? The
conspiracy theory is that, you know, he all of a sudden the reverb is completely gone. That's so weird.
Maybe it's because we were too far away from our mics.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to kind of close in on him, I guess.
Let's close the distance.
We'll work on that. The conspiracy theory is that a lot of these people were going to Epstein because Epstein had the availability of getting these young girls, and you know.
So. Yeah, my suspicion is exactly that. I think,
and he probably got paid a lot.
I
for
think
that.
they paid him to traffic girls.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
What's ironic though is that no one else has been implicated yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, let's just use a scenario of like he sold a girl to Bill Gates and Bill Gates, molested a girl. Like, why would, I feel like there would be someone that could vouch for that and say, this is what happened.
That's the conspiracy behind Epstein didn't kill himself. He was in prison or in jail, and then just magically the cameras weren't working that night and the guards fell asleep and he committed I'm putting quotation marks for the people listening, committed suicide in his jail cell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think,
and I feel like he's too much of a sociopath to want to actually kill himself. Like, he thought too highly of himself. He thought he could get away with it.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think, just his characteristics, I don't think he would have killed himself, honestly.
I think definitely lies were protected by him being murdered. I think he got murdered too. I haven't even gotten that far into it, and I can tell you,
he had too many connections. And remember, I think you probably heard that, because I remember I was upstairs like on my phone, but I could still hear what was going on kind of on the episode.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, he told one of the girls he can get away with it because he's so powerful and he has dirt on everyone.
Oh yeah, he threatened people a lot. Like, he threatened the newspaper and shit. And like, say, you don't want to publish this story, I'll make your life a living hell.
Yeah. And one of the later episodes, it's one of the girls reveals that he had like a camera room and there was cameras over all parts of his mansion and stuff, and he might have used that to blackmail people
or sell videos,
or probably blackmail, because you get if he gets famous politicians come over buying traffic people from him, and then he has them on video, then he can use that against them as leverage. There's
a lot of different conspiracy theories behind the video part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
he's just a weird guy. I mean, he had a bunch of young women in his home nude, just an obviously weird individual. What about his fucking wife, dude? Ghislaine Maxwell. What a piece of fucking work she is.
That's so funny. I have her on here. Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't his wife, but it was just like his associate.
Oh, they weren't married?
No.
Wow. Partners in crime, literally.
Yeah, my question right here I have written down. What motivated Ghislaine Maxwell? Was it money, or
that's a good question
too? It's much less common for.
She molested him too, so it's personal reasons.
That's what I want, because it's much less common for women to be predators.
Yeah,
so it's very startling,
Well, my suspicion is she was bisexual and she got her own pleasure out of it too, because from the sounds of it, she was molesting girls too.
Mm.
That's just fucking sick, dude.
It's fucking crazy.
What's even more disturbing about that is she was in such a position of power and influence to reel these girls in. Yeah, she was a female for one.
Much easier for her to reel them in than it would.
And she was outgoing, as they explained. She was much more bubbly than him. He was an introvert,
Yeah. I don't know if he really was an introvert. It seemed like he was pretty good at manipulating people. So
yeah, I know. I don't. They called him that on the documentary. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, what a piece of fucking work she is. I couldn't believe that, man. And the fact, so he basically just built a pyramid scheme of young girls, and by doing that, he basically would ask these young girls, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, to come in, start by massaging his feet. It sounded like there was a repeating pattern here.
Yeah, start by same thing.
Same thing. We massage our feet, and then he would flip over and expose himself, and then start asking questions like, "Hey, take off your clothes," and if they were if they subjected to that, he would then have sex with them and do his own thing with them, right? If they, it seems like the girls that were more resistant were like, "No, that's not happening. I'm not doing that." He then used that to his benefit and said, "Okay, well, tell you what, if you don't do it, you can recruit girls for me and I can pay you."
Yeah.
So then he built that pyramid scheme off of that platform. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Just manipulation.
Took advantage of a lot of people. It's fucking
and
crazy.
He kind of preyed on the poor, the young girls that were from poverty-stricken families.
Yeah.
And so money was just, $200 for recruiting somebody. back in 1990s, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
for,
really
for
not
a teenage kid.
for a teenage girl. Yeah, for him it's
Because they
nothing.
can recruit like 3 in a day or $600.
Oh, that's a good point.
Some of them said
actually.
they recruited 40 to 50 girls altogether.
Yeah,
So
that's not that. What is that? $8,000?
something like that. That's a lot to a teenage
I guess
kid.
that is a lot to a teenager. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about 14. We're talking about freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, I'm not gonna judge those girls for what they did because they were obviously put in a weird fucking
They
scenario.
were manipulated.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so
I think it's fucked up to even give them a hard time. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm not going to.
I think-
I'm like sitting here like that's not even that much money, but I'm like, who am I to?
You know they are. You know they have gotten backlash from it though. You know.
Mhm.
But my suspicion is that after all that it was over, they beat themselves up enough. You know.
Yeah,
They probably feel bad about it.
that's a lot of people. Not specifically that, but just a lot of people that are abused. They try to like, what did I do wrong? What
Yeah.
I deserve that or whatever. And I guess that kind of ties into what I want to say next. Is it's mostly upsetting because I know a few women that have disclosed their kind of trauma to me, their sexual abuse to me, and
Yeah.
you were talking how you were upset when you were watching the episode 1 yesterday.
That shit pisses me off.
How it just breaks people.
Yeah, I'm so pissed off when I see anybody who's been taking advantage of, especially young kids. You know,
Mm.
it's just so fucked up. And like you said, it hits home because we have had people in our family that
Yeah.
have been victims of this. I know people personally have been victims of this. It's much more apparent out there than I had thought years ago. You know what I mean? The older I get, I realize it's much more of an apparent thing that unfortunately happens to more girls than I thought, and boys too.
Honestly, to me, it feels like it happens to more people than it doesn't at this point. Maybe that's just the type of people I know. I guess I know more victims than I know people that aren't victims. I guess I don't know. That's fucking weird.
I don't know if that's true for me, but
I don't
there's
know.
definitely a good amount. You
I
know?
would say I don't know. Maybe that's just it's probably anecdotal.
There's too
but
much. Let's put it that way.
Too much. I think I was reading somewhere that like between like 35 and 50% of all women have some form of abuse at one point in their life.
It makes me so
That's a
fucking
huge percentage.
reluctant to, and this is just me being an overprotective dad, but even when people are like overly nice to my daughter,
Mhm.
I get weird about that. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I used to give my ex shit, dude, when she was like, don't let the kids do this or don't put pictures of the kids on social media. And I was like, you're being fucking crazy.
yeah,
And then the more I learned about this shit, I'm like, she probably isn't. She probably wasn't crazy. She probably was onto something, So
yeah. You don't want it to run your life.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If social media is something that you value or you think your kids can value from it, you shouldn't hold them from that.
Yeah.
Like my daughter enjoys the camera. She likes videos and stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to take that from her.
I wasn't
Just
necessarily
be
talking about
aware
the
of it.
I didn't necessarily really agree with the social media aspect, but some of the other things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't leave the kids with your family. If unlike.
I mean, if it exposes personal information, then you should be cautious.
Yeah.
Talking about schools, where you live,
Oh yeah.
shit like that.
Definitely
You want to
don't
be
do that.
very aware of
Mhm.
things of exposing that type of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm the more I watch documentaries like Jeffrey Epstein and the Seattle and the dark web where they're prostituting women, that shit makes me fearful for my daughter being abducted. Because I would fucking that's the only thing that really angers me the most. You know what I mean? It's just really taking a child's innocence. And I talk about before how not into really killing people or I don't condone death or anything, but I can't honestly say, that I would feel that way if someone, messed with my daughter in that respect.
100%, dude.
I would be in death kill mode, I think.
I think so too. I think if someone did something to one of my daughters, I think I'd find it very hard to not just like be in full rage mode, and I don't know if I'd be able to control myself, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. I hate to even think about that scenario, so I'll do my best to.
Hopefully this never happens.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a dark topic, but it is interesting. We'll have to touch base on this again because, like I said,
you got more to watch.
I want to finish it,
and I think it ties into some other conspiracy theories.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm looking at some other stuff too.
It's one of those. It's a sad thing to watch, but it's something that needs to be understood and needs to be exposed.
Yeah, it's like you were watching it, and Ben was watching it last night. I'd already seen it. And I started sitting there watching with him. I'm like, I really don't want to watch this. I've already seen this. Like, it's just too. It's like upsetting. You know what I mean? It's like if someone in school was like watching Holocaust videos. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of value of watching those.
Yeah.
But I don't want to watch them again. You know?
Yeah.
So.
No, I know. Especially when it's that dark and sad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotion in those.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll touch base on that again.
You got another topic, or you want me to bring up one?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you want to keep?
Well, speaking of my daughter, let me brighten it up a little bit. My daughter and I are starting our first podcast episode tomorrow.
What a segue!
So yeah, what a great segue. This is exciting though. So we're not going to expose any personal information, hopefully. But yeah, no, she's been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this. We were supposed to start last Sunday, but she ended up staying with her mom. So I told her, it's like, hey, we're going to be on a schedule now. So we got to stick to this now. This is like real TV episodes we're going to broadcast. So it's a little interesting talking to a child about it like that because it's just, she just wants to have fun and do whenever she wants type thing. But
yeah,
You
doing it tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll try 7:00 at first, see if that works. Hopefully it doesn't go too late, and then if that doesn't work out, we might end up bumping it to 6:00 or something. But we're gonna try it out on Sundays, 7:00 Pacific time. We should be on YouTube, Facebook.
How old is Malia? Malia 7?
Malia's 7 years old. Yeah, she'll be 8 in October. But nice. She's pretty smart, man. I'm really excited to get her on in this project because me and her have a lot of valuable conversations.
Yeah, she's pretty bright for a kid.
She is, man. I'm really proud of her and her thought process and her positive mentality as well. She's, she's like any kid. They have their moments where they need some parenting. But
she's pretty well behaved.
She is pretty well behaved, yeah. Like I said, I have very little complaints about her. And that's the honest truth. So
some kids are wild, bouncing off the walls, and she's not really like this.
Oh my God, when I see people that just can't control their kids, it's a direct result of the parenting.
Yeah.
It's like people. Like, you gotta have some structure.
I don't know, dude. My ex's kid, I could not get that kid to listen no matter what.
Yeah, it's because of the parenting.
I don't think so.
How old is he?
2, 3.
Yeah.
He was very rambunctious compared to other kids. And no matter what you did, I tried being stern with him. I tried being loving with him. I watched videos on this shit. And I was like, dude, my kids were nothing like this. And I'm not
I guess
doing anything different with this kid than I was with my kids. So there's also a genetic factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe parenting helps dial that in, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily that the bad parenting is a result of that behavior, but if they start out that way and they're so rambunctious and all over the place and bad parenting comes into play with that, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
And yes, boys are different. Exactly. And so, parenting is the governor. You know what I mean? If there's no control over that, that's going to continue. If there's some standards and some structure formed in there during that person's development at that young age, it'll get better.
Yeah.
That's my suspicion. I mean, I'm not a parenting expert by any means. But I think that's how it is. I think parenting is a direct result of how kids turn out for the most part, on a percentage. Speaking about percentages.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, Dynamic Duo, name of the podcast. Check it out tomorrow. We'll be on YouTube and Facebook as well. So real excited.
7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I wanted to get into this one. Conforming to societal norms and being unique. What do you think about those?
Versus, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry, there's a slash in there.
All right. So I lived my whole life conforming to societal norms. 33 years of my life, to be exact. Mm-hmm. I made a lot of changes to be unique. Just off the top of my head, I can think of a couple. I quit my 10-year job.
Right.
So I went using that as an example, I seen my parents and people that I looked up to be in a job for X amount of years, 20, 30 years, and I thought that was successful. I thought that's what I wanted to do. I thought that's what it took to be successful. Unfortunately, that's not what success means to me anymore. And that was something I was taught, and I learned through watching people. So yeah, I've changed in that respect. I left my 10-year job. A lot of people thought I was fucking crazy for doing that. They're like, why would you leave a job that you've been at for so long? You're secure, you get paid decent. Like, I got paid pretty good. But I had other opportunities and different avenues that I wanted to explore because I wanted more. And I just wanted to kind of tap into my full potential a little more. So there's one example. I switched my eating, when I was first introduced to the vegan plant-based diet. That was not part of the social norm for me. You know what I mean? Growing up, eating eggs and bacon and meat was completely, normal for me. I didn't know any different. And then when I was exposed to it by some good friends of mine, I decided to try it, liked it, have never went back. So there's a couple examples of how I transitioned from the social norm, using the eating and the job placement as a example, to converting 180 degrees. So now I own my own business. I had a failed business that I did before that, obviously, for a couple years. But that's how it goes. When you take chances and risks, you fail and you fall on your face. And that's what part of taking risks and getting out of the social norm is part of, I think.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the whole veganism thing before I asked that question, but we both are on that kind of fuck societal norms kind of thing with that.
Yeah. And the thing about that is a lot of people, not a lot, but some people might convert to vegetarianism first and do that. But, I'm just the type of person where I commit to something. So there's really no stepping stones for the most part for me. If I see something I want to do, I'm going to do it. And I think that's what I did with that. Just kind of like smoking, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I smoked for 25 years, and I didn't want to smoke anymore. So weed, that is. I didn't smoke cigarettes.
Did you smoke when you were like 9, though?
Oh yeah, I smoked when I was like up till about 14 years old, and then I stopped that.
That's crazy.
I smoked like a few years, not like up till, you know what I mean? I wasn't smoking as a baby till 14. But yeah, just quit cold turkey. So yeah, it is interesting how we kind of made that switch. Did you go from did you do a transition, or did you just kind of cold turkey that too?
For
veganism?
For veganism?
Yeah.
No, I went straight into veganism. But I did a lot of research before I went vegan. I was trying a bunch of different diets because I had gained like 25, 30 pounds since I graduated high school, and there was no way for me to get it off. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with my body? Why won't I lose this weight? So I tried a bunch of different diets. None of them worked. So then I started studying veganism, and then I realized it sounded pretty healthy. But I studied it for like maybe a month, watched all these videos and documentaries and read up on it. And then I tried it. I was like, all right, I'm going to try it for 3 days and see how I feel. I think I did it for 2 days, and I was like, all right, we're there. It was very apparent. I think I lost 10 pounds my first week. And I wasn't
Wow.
I wasn't not cutting calories or anything. I was just eating. And I think it's because I'm lactose intolerant, and I think my body was just like holding on this weight from being like allergic to half the shit I was eating.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know if anybody knows this, but we're all lactose intolerant.
not everyone, but like I think it's like 70% of the world is lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So majority of people.
We're not designed to drink another animal's milk. Let's put it that way.
Not even designed to drink our own milk past a certain age, really.
Past a certain age, yeah. You need it at first.
There's a lot less lactose though in human milk, I think. So
Yeah. So, yeah, but to answer your question a little more directly, the way I feel about the societal norms versus uniqueness is I would encourage people to get out of that look for ways to get out of the social norms, the social expectations and the social norms of life, because we've been taught that through school. We've learned that through examples of unless you come from a family of entrepreneurs and you learn that instead, most likely if you're like the rest of us in the high percentage, you probably learned how to be normal and how to fit in and how to conform and fall in line. I would say that's very counterproductive, and it's I would say also that's not what humans are meant to do.
it's not. The reason I brought this up was mostly because I'm always, over the years, have been trying to be normal. You know what I mean? And it's always an uphill battle, honestly. I feel like for me to try to conform to societal norms. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like the things that make me feel happy are also what make me unique. And it's just like I just changed my degree that I'm going for in college. I went from a science-based degree to an art-based degree, and I feel much more excited about that.
Nice.
And just, I don't know. I don't like really social cues either when you're like in groups of people and you're supposed to act a certain way.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. Every time I act different than people expect to, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just being me, I guess. I don't want to fucking act that way just because people. I mean, I will if it makes sense, but in certain situations, if people will act a certain way for like arbitrary reasons, I'm like, why the fuck are you guys being like that? It's fucking weird."
Yeah. You mean like saying bless you? Stuff like that, maybe?
Not necessarily that. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but
Opening the door for people?
I only do that if I want to. I don't do that because people expect me to. You know what I mean? If I'm in a good mood and I feel like being a nice person, then I will. But I don't do it for people to be like, "Oh, you're such a nice person," I guess.
You're a hero.
Yeah, I don't do it to be a hero. I do it because I'm like walking out the door, I see it in reflection, someone's behind me. I'm in a good mood, so I'm like, "Here, I'll open the door for this person," whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's, you know what? I'll write it down next time it happens. I can bring it up.
Yeah, no, that's a good point actually, because there is a lot out there. I know what you're saying though.
It's like etiquette. You're supposed to act this way. You're supposed to talk this way. You're supposed to do this thing this way. It's like, but why?
There are some things that are appropriate. There are etiquettes that are appropriate, and
yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It's not everything. Some things definitely make sense.
yeah.
Why you act certain ways in certain situations. You know what I mean? You're not like woohoo at a fucking funeral, but. I mean, that makes sense, you know what I mean? But like, you don't need to be crying. You don't need to like feel like you need to cry at a funeral just because that's what people expect of you. Like that's an example. You can just kind of sit there and be like, all right, well, this kind of sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say for you, if I was to, maybe if there's an etiquette you can give me too, I'll hear that. But I would say, and this makes sense now that you said that, because I think you could use a little bit of roommate etiquette.
Yeah, maybe.
And that makes sense because you're sharing an environment with another individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in that regard, I would say it makes sense. It's necessary in that scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, use an example, like dishes.
Most of the time, if I don't, you're pretty anal about dishes. Not gonna lie. Because
Well, you gotta realize I lived by myself for years
Yeah.
prior to you, and so my sink has always been empty.
yeah.
And then now comes along another entity.
What I'm referring to, guys, that you don't know, Ben keeps the sink completely empty. He always washes his dishes every single time he's done eating something. And here's the thing. I do it majority of the time, but every once in a while I'll forget to do it. Or like the dishwasher will be running and I'll put something in the sink and I'll get to that when the dishwasher is finished. And then I fall asleep. And then Ben's like, hey, yo, man, I just want to say, I fucking hate dishes being in here. I'm like, yeah, my bad, dude. Sorry. That's what I'm talking about. There's other things that are probably more important than dishes, like me leaving empty food containers around and shit. Shit like that. That's probably more.
It's little shit.
It's little stuff.
It's little shit. But that's an example of how some etiquette may be appropriate. You know what I mean? And I understand what you're saying too. Like some of it's a waste of time, and it goes in the topic of social norms.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is an example of when you're, more particularly when you share something with someone, you got to be a little more aware of etiquette, I think.
Yeah.
When you don't have to and you're out in public, not so much, I don't think. I think that's more subjective to you and how you want to be. Like you said, if you're feeling like in a good mood, then hey, maybe you'll hold the door open for somebody or So yeah, it's an interesting topic though. Social norms and uniqueness. I would definitely encourage uniqueness because you're going to be more happy with yourself.
Yeah, that kind of brings me to another topic that I wouldn't mind talking about that I didn't realize I want to talk about until now. Is gender norms, right?
Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
Actually, kind of how men and women interact and how they're expected to interact.
Yeah.
I think is a very interesting topic. And I think the reason I think it's an interesting topic, right, is because of feminism. Which I'm fine with feminism. I completely agree that we should treat everyone equally. But here's my problem with this whole thing. What's up with people being feminists and being like everyone should be equal, but then being like, hey, the man should pay for dinner. He should open up the car door for the woman. I don't fucking get the contradiction there. And you know what? I'm fine having these gender roles, but I'm just saying it's a little contradictory to be like that.
They're picking and choosing.
Yeah. It's like do you only want to be equal when it's convenient, or do you actually want to be equal? Okay. I understand. Or is it more like I just want to be treated fairly? Because that's fine. But like when you blanket statement say I want to be equal, it's like, do you though?
I think there just needs to be more they need to be more specific, the feminists, because it's the blanket statements that are real confusing.
Yeah,
and the word choice, because equal is a strong word.
Equal is a very strong word, and honestly, you can't really say that men and women are equal.
How do you feel about transgenders in sports?
See, I'm fine with transgenders, but I don't think that specifically transgender women, so male to female, I don't think that they should be allowed to compete
in women's sports
because there is a biological advantage to being men on average have more muscle mass. They're taller, longer, faster on average.
There's exceptions.
There's definitely exceptions to every rules. Every woman in the UFC could beat my ass, but
me too, dude. Those women are tough.
So yeah, not saying women can't be strong and big and whatever, but
Amanda Nunes would fuck us up.
But I'm just saying I'm saying if you have an average man and an average woman, the man is probably stronger, maybe quicker. I don't know if speed is actually a gender thing.
Yeah, it's more physique.
Yeah, more physique. So, especially in sports where like your strength matters, which most sports that's true.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I do think that like if you have a female to male athlete that wants to compete with males, I think that's fine. And I think the reason behind that is because they're already at a disadvantage. They're at a disadvantage. So if they want to compete with, be an underdog in the situation, I'm fine with that. But like, don't be a male to female transgender in MMA. That's fucked up. That's it's just fucked up. Okay, I'm fine for you if you want to be a woman, you want to be a man, you want to be in the middle, like whatever. because that's more. You're not even really fighting biology. Like the people that are like, gender versus sex. You know what I mean? Sex is being like biological, and gender is like societal norms, how you're expected to act as this. And maybe you don't feel like what people categorically say like men are or women are. Maybe you're in the middle, or maybe you feel more feminine, so you'd rather be addressed as a woman, or whatever, or however you feel. That's fine. But yeah, competing in sports, I think that's a different topic. It
is a different topic. I think I would prefer there to be. It should always be separate. We should have men's sport, is my opinion. We should always have men in their own sport, women in their own sport, and then we should make their own sport with transgenders. Specifically, male to female, and also, initially I would say male, or excuse me, yeah, male, female to male.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also okay with, biological women participating in a men's sport.
Yeah.
A man's sport. I'm okay with that because exactly the reason that you stated, they're at a disadvantage. So if they are successful, that's that much more of an achievement for them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's heroic. I feel like I've said that 4 times in this episode now. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm on board with that, and it's just when we're talking about sports, you know what I mean? Like I can't see that being applied really in any other thing unless it involves a physique. So maybe like the army, maybe.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters in the army. Yeah.
Disclaimer: we're not experts on this, and we might come across as ignorant. And if we do, sorry, we're just naive. So
yeah, this is just exactly this personal. Our own ideologies. We have no facts. This is just literally speculation and what we think. I would love some feedback on this. Actually, I wish someone would kind of chime in with something. To get some. That's why we're having these conversations. We need more people to chime in and get them thoughts provoked. Maybe there's different angles that we're not even seeing.
Here's an angle actually. So the female to male transgender people might actually have an easier time competing. Not easier, but they take testosterone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When you go from female to male as a transgender and you're come out as a male, they take testosterone therapy.
Really?
So they will end up growing muscle and facial hair and all this stuff. So I wonder if after a certain point, maybe they are kind of equal. I mean, obviously they might be shorter. You know what I mean? I'm saying like physique wise.
Yeah.
Who knows though?
They're not at as much disadvantage as we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea when it comes to the testosterone.
Yeah.
Boost. I have no idea.
Have you seen those videos? They're pretty cool. Have you ever seen the videos, the like time lapse of people taking testosterone?
No.
Transgender. It's so cool because they start off with these feminine voices, and then over time their voice just gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
That's wild.
You see their facial hair changing, and their face structure even changes.
Really?
Testosterone changes like how much muscle and how much fat you have in your face.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wish we had more info on that, or I wish maybe I would have looked into it a little more
before we brought it up.
Yeah, before you brought it up. Was that on your topic thing, or we just winged that one?
We just winged that one.
Right on. Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, we're just having conversations, so it's great to have unique conversations like that. Mm. Unique perspectives too. But yeah, as far as, dude, let me get into some rants here because I got a few of them. Oh, God, there's some annoying things right now. So, first of all, let's talk about people ghosting people.
Oh, I'm guilty of this. So
we live in a world where we're a bunch of fucking cowards, and everybody's scared to say no or how they feel.
That's really what it is.
Why? You know what? I'm not going to be too hard because I also was that way for, probably up until the last year, maybe even. So we're talking 36 years of my life. So I'm not saying I don't do that, but it is something I haven't done for a good year now. And so now it's like I never understood First of all, it never benefits anybody. Here's the problem with that. You leave people hanging to wonder.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do next. And the reason it's irritating me now, it comes in many, many forms. But the reason I'm talking about it right now is because, for instance, I had an individual working for me. So I'm very clear from the beginning with people that work for me. I'm like, hey, just so you know, I'm very easy to talk with. I'm a very reasonable individual. I'm fair. But if at any point there's something that bothers you, or we need to readjust, or something we need to address, you can always talk to me. I'm very good at listening. We can work this out, right? Mm-hmm. I have this conversation with almost everybody I hire, and this has been consistent for a year now.
Right.
I had this conversation with this last individual that I hired. Guess what? He hasn't answered his phone in 3 days.
Was he the one that was here the other day? Or no, that must have been the newer guy.
That's the new hire, yeah.
I was gonna say, because I thought you said something to someone. You're like, answer your phone or something, like kind of jokingly, and he's like, I'll get back to you. Was that the old guy or was that the newer guy?
Oh, that was another new employee, but he's the guy's working for me on the job.
Oh, okay.
So there's that guy, and there's a new sales rep I'm hiring. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm constantly trying to build a team here, and it's been a long road. So, but yes, more importantly, this guy ghosted me and left a bunch of responsibility on the table.
Mm.
So not only did he just ghost me, but he represented my company and made me look bad by doing this. Because I don't know what to do with all this communication that he had with my customers and homeowners. So it's a problem. This is obviously a bigger example of why ghosting creates a lot of problems. Because he could have easily just called me and said, hey, I can't work anymore, or whatever, my back hurts, or I don't like you, or whatever the case.
I don't like you.
I need something to work with, all right? Otherwise, I'm left to just be like, what do I do? So obviously, I have to wait X amount of days to finally confirm, like, okay, he ghosted me for 3 days. I think it's safe to say that he quit. But I shouldn't have to go through that piecing shit together to figure out, like, I don't know, did he quit? Maybe, he had a medical emergency. Maybe, I don't know, he got hit by a car. I'm sitting here wondering in my head what's going on. So it's better to just address people and say what's on your mind. I understand it's tough, but you're going to benefit from this very much more than just ghosting somebody. Ghosting somebody is not the best. I understand it's the new way to say no to people, but it's not the most effective. It's so disrespectful.
I have an interesting take on it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a newer thing that happens now, right? It's kind of developed over the last 10 years.
Yeah,
right?
It's progressively getting worse.
It never really used to be a thing, like,
no,
over 10 years ago. And it kind of ties into that hurt people thing. And I think enough people have been ghosted at this point now that now they're kind of doing the same thing to other people.
Yes.
And because I remember I used to always be very attentive. I'm guilty of ghosting people nowadays. And I think I used to be very attentive of always replying to everyone that messaged me. And nowadays I'm like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what everyone's doing. And so now I think as a society, we got to fucking fix that because it's a big problem.
We do got to fix that. And it's not just for the person that's getting ghosted's reason. Not just for that reason. You're going to build yourself better as a person. Being able to tell somebody no is a quality. Being able to tell somebody what's on your mind is a benefit and a quality to you and your self-development. Why it's not being practiced more, I don't know. But I don't think I've even heard this be talked about. But I'm talking about it, and I'm saying that you're going to benefit much better as a person if you learn how to say no to people and you learn how to tell them the hard stuff. That's it. People have a hard time being the bearer of bad news. Well, ghosting somebody and withdrawing information or withholding information is much worse because you're wasting people's valuable time. And it creates problems. So for both people's benefit. Learn how to say no. Learn how to talk about things, and talk is really the big thing. Communicate. We need to build communication. We need to bring better communication back.
Yeah, I need. It's definitely shining light on. I need to work on it as well. So
That's
I
honest.
agree with. I completely agree with what you're saying. And
That's honest.
I feel the same way towards other people, but it's also
Something you do as well.
reflecting on myself. I need to work on it as well.
Yeah. Well, maybe me bringing it up is, part of that. For a good step, because now, because nobody talks about it, it's going to continue to go on as it is. This is not just for business. This goes with dating. Oh boy,
It's huge in dating.
oh
It's
boy,
such a
the
prevalent-
ghosting and dating. You know how much self-development and personal development you can gain if you applied this to your dating game. Being able to tell somebody no, like, hey, it's not gonna work out. You know what I mean? Your feet stink,
Oh my
or
God.
or whatever. You're too tall.
The weirdest statement ever for me is it actually feels good when someone says no. It feels much better than
Yeah.
when someone ghosts you,
Yeah,
because at least there's nothing left on the table.
exactly.
This is, I messaged this woman, and then there's this young lady. A woman always sounds like you have to be like over 30 or something to say woman. She's like 25. I don't know, but I messaged her. She didn't respond for like 4 days, and you know what? If she could have just responded initially and just been like, you know what I mean, that would have been fine. But I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, did she die or something? Like, ghosting people, there's a bunch of different.
It leaves you in the
reactions.
guessing game.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, I don't know. Maybe she could like me. Maybe she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just guessing.
The worst is when someone ghosts you and then they respond like they're interested and then they ghost you again.
Yeah.
So you have these long periods of time where they just don't talk to you, and you're like,
There's head games.
what? I'm guilty of that shit too, because mine's not personal. It's just because I go through depression and I don't want to talk to anyone, like I've talked about a few times on this podcast. But yeah, it's a shitty feeling.
It's funny because I think I kind of actually am going through that a little bit. It's funny because I haven't had time to even,
Process your emotions.
No. Talk. Oh, I guess you can call it that. No, not even that. I haven't had time to respond to the online dating stuff right now. There was one individual I was speaking with where everything we're clicking on some stuff and we're talking about some stuff and so when you respond to somebody, it seems as though you're interested, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise they wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of days where we wouldn't talk, and then she would reply. So it's like, oh, okay.
Mm.
Obviously she does have a little bit of interest. And then I would say something back, and then wouldn't hear anything for a couple of days. So, and I understand people get busy too. I'm the same way. Sometimes I'll not get back to people for a day or two just because I'm literally just busy. And when I say I'm busy, I'm not using that word lightly like other people do, and just they abuse that word, throw it around, and like, yeah, I was busy.
Not Hollywood busy, actually busy.
Yeah, exactly. Literally fucking busy. And just to put it in perspective, I take 15 calls at least a day, and I'm running about 4 appointments a day if I'm not actually on the job site working. And I'm marketing all the time, and I'm doing this podcast, and I'm doing another podcast, and yeah. So when I say I'm busy, and so I carve out time, and for things that are important to me, I make sure I'm going to do it. And the band, I carve out time. Like if I didn't carve out Sunday practice, I would never have practice. So
that's right. You have practice tomorrow, huh?
I got practice tomorrow, yeah, and I love that. You know what I mean?
Hey, dude.
And it's something I care about. And so, yo, what's up, username 2?
Username 2.
Hello. You came in right when we were talking about ghosting people. Do you ghost people, or are you afraid to tell people no? Or do you tell people exactly what's on your mind? Please tell me you're not one of those people. And if so, let's think about changing that, because like I said, you missed what we were talking about earlier, but it's a benefit for everybody to be able to tell somebody no and tell them what's on your mind, and to be able to give somebody the bad news. a good quality to have.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we have a guest on.
We have a
Wednesday?
guest. We have a guest. My friend William Middleton is going to be on the show. He's a pretty solid individual. He's been doing some live streams of his own, and I noticed that. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity for him to get on here and kind of he has a lot to say about the current status of what's going on. And so I think it's going to be a very good conversation. He's very articulate. And so, yeah, we're going to get him over here next Saturday and we'll have some good conversations with him.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, username says, I tell people what is really happening and what I think about it. Good for you. Good for you.
Solid.
That's fucking awesome. That's what I wanted to hear. Good for you. And I bet it feels good too, right? I know it does because I do it. I don't feel right about ghosting people. Matter of fact, I feel ashamed I ever did ghost people.
Yeah. I feel the shame. I feel the shame.
Hey, it's a muscle, dude, to exercise straight up.
Yeah, lots of almost everything. You always have to exercise everything. It's fucking weird.
Because it's not something that I've been doing my whole life. It's something that also I probably learned it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing people ignore somebody, that just seems to be the new way to say no to somebody now, or that you're not interested.
Yeah.
So depressing. So inefficient, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just wasting time. But yeah, dude, I got another rant. What's up with people driving in cars and walking with masks on? Please enlighten me on this.
I think walking with the mask on is fine. I think I already kind of tied into this. I don't understand why you're so upset about people driving with the mask on.
I'm not upset, but it's silly.
I don't know why it bothers you. I mean, not like makes you upset bothers you, but like draws your attention and annoys you. Yeah, it's like, why?
It's idiotic.
Well,
you're getting the most fresh air you can possibly get.
Well, here's my thought process. If I put a mask on and I don't necessarily want to keep touching the mask on and off, I might just put it on at the house, drive around, go everywhere, come back home, take it off. Because I don't want to keep touching my face by touching the mask, you know what I mean? Because you have to touch around your ears and shit. And you know what I mean? You have to put the mask on and you're touching the mask and you could be contaminating parts of the mask. So honestly, I don't think it really matters that much.
I mean, I feel like if you're going through the extent of having a mask on, you should also be going through the extent of having gloves and sanitation with you as well. I mean, if you're gonna do it. Like, and then you have the ability to take the mask off whenever the fuck you want, especially when you're driving in a car with fresh air and the windows rolled down, or you're walking outside.
Yeah,
like, it's just silly.
I think walking around's fine because sometimes I'll be walking down the sidewalk, you know, and some other dude walk right past me. You know what I mean?
Create distance, man. You're supposed to be 6 feet away.
Well, sometimes you're walking on the sidewalk. There's cars driving past. Where are you gonna go?
Yeah, you can figure it out. You can
figure it out. Just jump on a car.
You can create distance. You could step to the side for a second. There's no spot on the sidewalk where you can't separate 6 feet laterally.
Well, you know what I mean? You're still gonna walk through where they're breathing. So
yeah, I mean, you can wait a second, then let the air.
It can linger in the air though for like a couple hours.
Yeah, it just seems silly to me. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's your take. I'm just counter arguing it because I don't agree with it, but
yeah,
I understand what you're saying though.
If you think it's gonna linger in the air that long in one area outside, then I guess that makes sense, but I don't think so.
The audio is a bit messy. What is wrong with it? We're gonna have to fix this. Yeah, we'll fix the audio by next podcast. This is the first time with 2 mics, so
that's weird.
It is weird. I don't understand. Maybe we need to get some arms for these. I guess we'll figure it out.
What's the audio sound like? Is it like reverberating?
Is it reverb?
Is it one mic? Both mics sound shitty, or what specifically would you say is going on with that?
Yeah, that's why I'm like leaning into it right here. I guess this is kind of this is actually where I tested the mic. Is like this close. So talking into the mic. So I was hoping that maybe me talking, but I don't know. I feel like we have the setting right on it.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely know when we play it back, but obviously we can't right now. We'll have to. We'll take a look at this this episode and then see if we can tweak the audio. But that is interesting that it's doing that.
Speaking of which, it also might be I'm scraping my pen across shit while I'm talking.
Is that any better? Yeah, let us know if that cleaned up at all.
Thanks, stop scraping your fucking pen across everything. I hear one of you from both mics. Do you hear me, Danny, from both mics, or do you hear Ben from both mics?
This is Ben. Do you hear my voice through both mics, or do you hear Danny's?
Yep.
But yeah.
Interesting. I think we have the same. Maybe yours isn't on the right setting.
No, it is. I checked.
Is that in between? Oh wait, no. Okay, never mind. It looked like it was in between, but I guess it's not. It shouldn't be.
I don't know. We're kind of approaching the end of the episode anyway, so we'll be able to figure out here before the next one. Well, the next one we're gonna have 3 people, so we're either gonna have him bring a mic, or we're gonna have to use like these mics in a different setting anyway.
We'll probably end up using this with the two-way one.
Yeah.
Sideways settings.
It might be beneficial to use both of them with that kind of two-way,
But like sitting in between us, you know, there's 3 of us, and then having like each mic in between us.
You're coming in through my mic.
I'm coming in through your mic?
It's interesting.
Weird. I don't know why. Even when I'm facing this way and just talking directly into the mic, it's coming through his mic. That's weird. So we have to figure out the settings on your mic, I guess. I don't know why it's like that.
Well, I did move it away from you a little more, so we'll see if that that adjusted anything, at least in the last few minutes that we have.
Hopefully. Yeah.
What else you got to talk about here? Anything else you want to squeeze in?
No, not really. We went over all my topics. We got this stuff I didn't even have on here. Do you have anything else?
Right on. Just a couple more rants, dude.
All right. I guess we probably have time for one more, and then go our plug in.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of positivity here is I've been feeling really good about like my
I'm coming in on Ben's. How am I coming in on yours?
Oh, that's weird. I have no idea.
That's so weird. Huh.
Well, what's up, Will? We were just talking about how you're going to be on the next podcast, or not next, but Saturday's podcast, dude. We're looking forward to that. So,
maybe I'll just talk really quietly and softly. Does that help?
But yeah, looking forward to having you in and chatting it up and brushing on some of these topics, man. But yeah, I'm feeling real good with the conversion rate on the business, making a lot of sales. So my confidence level has been up. Just being a lot more successful has been nice, man.
Mm-hmm.
But
pretty happy for you.
Heck yeah, thanks, dude. You already know it's been a long road. But man, what's up? Okay, so a couple more rants I have. One is, let's talk about voicemails.
Okay.
What the fuck is up with voicemails? There's like 5 different variations of voicemail. Like, leave a message after the beep. And then the ones that have so many options, right? They're like, to have different sending options, press 1. To repeat your message, press 2. To re-record, press 3. Dude, they have about 6 or 7 different options, and the one that you most commonly pick is always last.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous.
And they're never the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to listen to that whole thing. You don't know if it's pound twice, if it's pound, or if you just hang up. It's like, can we start putting that option that's most common first?
Yeah. I fucking hate leaving messages, honestly.
I think a lot of people hate leaving messages, man. That's why I know when I miss a call on the business and they leave a message that they're serious. Because if they left a message and they took the time to do that, because you could tell, I could hear it in their voice, they're uncomfortable even leaving that message, but they're serious because they want a job done. Mm-hmm. So that's how I know it's worth calling them back.
Yeah, if I'm not too serious about whatever the fuck I'm calling for, and it's like goes to voicemail, a lot of time I'll be like, nope. I'm I'm not ready to do like a performance right now. Okay. So.
Start tap dancing, man. Dude, what's up with the fucking weather right now?
Is your rant about the weather? What is up with the weather right now?
It sucks.
Raining.
It sucks.
It's technically not summer yet, so
it's not summer, but a day like, you know, Pacific Northwest weather sucks. In case people didn't know that, you get a day like, particularly like today, where the sun comes out a little bit, or it's a little muggy, and then it starts downpouring for like an hour, pretty good. Then the sun comes back out a little bit, and then it starts raining again. It's the days that it can't make its mind up that are really irritating.
I'll disagree. I kind of like today.
You weren't outside very much either.
No, but I mean, maybe if I was outside, but I mean, if I was working outside, I'd probably dislike it. But
it's even more annoying. Yeah,
if I was walking outside, I probably wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, working outside in this kind of weather is the worst because you know me, I wear a rain suit, and if it, you know, then the sun comes out and you're sweating. You can't really take it off because it's going to rain half hour later. So you're just stuck, committed to one or the other. You either get soaking wet or you get soaking wet with sweat.
Yeah. Personally, I like the rain. So, but, well, depends. I don't like November rain when it's fucking like freezing rain. I hate that shit.
Neither does Guns N' Roses.
I knew when I said that instantly. All right, so I don't like December rain and the fucking freezing rain.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
But like late spring and early fall are my favorite times of year.
Right on, right on. But yeah, Pacific Northwest weather sucks for the most part. We just get way too much rain.
Yeah.
We need some sun. I want to move sometimes. Sometimes I just feel like moving to California.
This is a good thing you said that. Okay, well, let's go. We're going to California, guys. We'll be broadcasting from LA soon.
We'll see you, yep. We're going back to Barstow?
No. Well, I guess that's not that far from LA. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's an hour, right?
Mojave Desert, yeah. It's a couple hours probably, actually. I'm not sure. I know San Diego was a couple hours.
Barstow is directly in the middle of LA and Las Vegas. I think it's an hour in between both of them.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 2 hours from LA to Vegas. If I'm not mistaken. I'm probably wrong. So don't talk shit. I just don't know.
Someone's got to correct you on that.
But yeah, see, I'm taking acting classes, so and we had the podcast going. We could move to LA. I could do acting stuff down there and fail. But that's fine. But we could do the podcast down there and get some interviews going.
You never know where life's going to take you now.
Who knows? I'm trying acting class. I don't know. I'll probably be like, I don't know. I got to work on a ton of stuff to do it, so we'll see.
Right on, man. Well, I'm excited for you on that endeavor.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I think we're coming down to a close, aren't we?
Yeah, it's actually, we only got 2 minutes, so we got to do our plugs and shit real quick. Okay, so for people who weren't here at the beginning, we're now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This episode should be up within a couple hours on those platforms. We're now using Twitter and Instagram. We'll be putting clips and notifications on there, so follow us there. And then, yeah, every Wednesday and Saturday, the podcast will be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So
sweet.
Make sure to follow us on those platforms.
Follow us, subscribe, give us some feedback, like us, don't like us, hate us. Yeah, we need some more haters too. So let's bring it.
Yeah, if we're doing something shitty, you can just tell us. We can try working on it if we feel like it's justifiable to work on it.
Yeah, don't ghost us. Just tell us what's on your mind.
You guys' audio sucks, dick.
Yeah, we'll work on the audio, so we appreciate you guys being patient with us on that part. So hopefully next Wednesday's episode will be a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, we're wrapping it up, so keep it viral.
Keep it contagious. Thanks for watching.
See ya.